Obviously feeling great after that win.
Oh,
It's
man.
been a long time coming, right?
I can't explain the feeling I have. It's incredible. Just coming back from the surgery, training camp, completely out of my comfort zone. I ended up spending a lot of time in Denver in Factory X with Mark Montoya and a bunch of killers out there. This guy Ian Heinisch, just a bunch of these tough guys, and it was uncomfortable. I was away from my family, but it was what I needed. It was that change. And then obviously I kept sharp with my coach Rob Hanley out in Salt Lake City. Lots of pad work and technical jiu-jitsu stuff and working through things and escaping from bad position, and I mean it worked tonight. Yeah,
I mean over 2 years since your last win. Do you almost forget what the feeling is like, to get your hand raised in there?
No, man. I feel like, well, I mean, I know I had 2 controversial decisions. Mm-hmm. One of them was really controversial. It was like a draw, and then it was overturned. And then, I mean, go look at the strikes in the Ben Saunders fight. Mm-hmm. Watch the fight. I mean, obviously that was a controversial decision, but I love Ben. So I didn't feel like I lost, but I mean, obviously if you look at the decision, it says loss. But outside of that, like, I don't hang my head on those things. I just do what I'm supposed to do. I do the best that I can. And sometimes the best you can is a close decision loss or a controversial loss or a loss. But the idea is that what do you put into it to come back from that?
With one of those decisions that you referenced, coming in Canada, were you nervous at all when it went to the Carson? And it seemed pretty.
Very nervous. I wasn't at first, because they said he was Dominican. He was a tough wrestler, and he had power punches. I know he knocked out a close friend of mine who had since retired, but he was standing up straight, and I was like, oh shoot. And then somebody was like, oh man, the Nick Ring loss was just a terrible, terrible decision. One of the worst in UFC history. But it was in Calgary, and he's from Calgary, and Nick Ring is a very close friend of mine. I love the guy to death. But he had Bret Hart cornering him. He's from Calgary, I mean, like, and I didn't think about that then, but I lost, and it was really controversial, and it was just like, oh man, somebody put it in my head, hey, he's an adopted Canadian, and you're in Canada, and I'm like, oh shit. Okay, you gotta get the win, you gotta get the win. And then when I almost stopped him, I dropped him and got on top. He just, he ended up grabbing me and closing the distance, and it was hard to finish, and I didn't want to separate myself and get too wild. So it was like it slipped away, getting that stoppage. And then, it was like on edge the rest of the fight, So I was worried a little bit coming into it.
That having been said, was that exactly the kind of fight you needed coming back off the shoulder surgery, going the distance, going the full 3 rounds? With
a strong, super tough guy, it builds your confidence, but also too, there's some wear and tear. But I feel good. I definitely, he definitely landed some good shots. So I'm gonna take, the 2 weeks or 3 weeks suspension, make sure I don't get my head hit. But outside of that, man, I feel really good, and it just boosts my confidence that I'm doing the right things. Making the decision to, drive 4,000 plus miles during this training camp was well worth it. I got the teammates and the partners that I needed to get it, the technical work, and that little bit of change, that fresher breath air, and I feel good.
And obviously you spoke about, the addiction. You've been a motivational speaker on that topic for a while.
Yeah.
What does it mean to you to have that platform with the UFC to be able to address those issues?
I mean, it's my driving force, man. I'm one of those kids that got hooked on pain pills in high school and ended up overdosing on heroin. And I mean, how many people in Canada and the United States and around the world are dying every day? Hundreds and hundreds of people are dying accidentally of opiate overdoses every day. And I'm one that has made it out. And so my story of success, getting married, by the way, 10 years. I'll be married tomorrow for 10 years to my wife. I had 2 children. This entire MMA career, I never even fought before I got sober. And after getting sober 12 and a half years ago, it's like I got married. I had 2 beautiful children. I've been in the UFC for over 8 years now. and I have an opportunity to speak. And let me tell you, man, high school kids listen to me. I'm speaking from personal experiences. But my personal experience is elusive, and it's without drugs or alcohol. For me, that's the end of it. And so, no drinking, no using, no drugging, and I'm able to accomplish incredible things, like fight the best guys in the world. And it's just a great platform to speak from. People listen to me, and they trust what I have to say is honest and the truth, because it is. So.
When you spoke with us on Thursday, you said you worked your wrestling in camp. He went for a single in the third, you stuffed it, and then you went for a takedown of your own. Do you think you really surprised him with that one?
It did. When he landed and I heard him go, oh, and I was like, yeah, I got that. But also too, he switched a single on me and sat me down, and then he got a switch. And that switch, I was telling myself to pop my head out the outside and come around back. But like I couldn't go. I was like, no, just stay here. Just sit it out. Just sit it out. You know, and it's just, I don't know. It's those battles. You talk to yourself in those fights sometimes. And sometimes you just go. Sometimes you talk to yourself. But I think I did. I think I did surprise him a little bit.
So I had asked you on Thursday, do you think we're going to see you being more active heading into the next year? Do you think you will be now?
Yeah. Hey man, I feel good too. No breaks, no tears, you know. There's a bunch of cuts on my head that I don't know of, unless there is, and you guys can't. But I feel good, man. So yes, more active.
And what do you and your wife do to celebrate 10 years together?
What did she say on the phone, Coach? Costa Rica?
Yeah.
She's like, we're going to Costa Rica. I already booked the flights. No. She really, yeah. La República Dominicana. No, man. I don't know. Probably go out to dinner, maybe get a hotel, get away from the kids for a couple of days. But I don't know. I miss my kids. I haven't seen them for a month, man, and I'm ready to get back to them and squeeze on them and love on them and get home and then go celebrate my 10-year anniversary with my wife.
And you fought all sorts of tough guys. I think a lot of people forget that you actually beat Robert Whitaker, who's obviously the champion. Is there anyone out there that you have the desire to fight?
There's not anybody specific, but I want to keep moving up. And now I'm in a groove. I have some new, fresh training, and I had more fun this time than I've had in a long time. I enjoyed the training camp. I mean, I did things that I haven't done for years, and I felt good. And I felt good all week. It was really weird feeling. I'm usually just so focused and zoned out, but I feel good. My weight cut went pretty good. I felt more lighthearted. And Mark was a breath of fresh air. And just, I'm just moving up.
Perfect. Thank you.